Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here, and part of the reason I'm making this video is I just wanted to play the game. So pushing forward on this, and I'm after all the Christmas holidays, New Year's, and all that stuff. I'm gonna step up. I'm still got other things going on, but I'm gonna step up and try to get back to 2 videos a day. I have noticed with my level of viewers, if I put more than 2 out a day, we start to excuse me, warning beforehand. You need to go. No, you're just really beat up. Okay. Start to cannibalize viewers. I think too much for the numbers, but so we need to expand the viewership. So if you could please share this video. I don't know whether it's Twitter, it's Facebook, it's forums, and I do post links over on various forums, including Matrix and Slytherin for the appropriate games. But if you've got any other gaming forum place, school fun activities, I don't know, videos to watch, or I don't know what it might be, the more you share this out, under different people sharing it out really helps incredibly a lot. Okay. And of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe. You can like the video now. We're running into a bit of the traffic jam problem here, but what we're going to do... yeah, I think we want to do that. We're going to put you onto floaty things, often known as boats. Come over here and then get off the floating things. So now we have a German HQ and an Italian HQ over here to help out. Not that many Italian units, but figured every bit of help we could get would be good. Yeah, I think this would also be good to convert back to active status, so that when we get ready to push in, we'll have another unit on the front line. We're going to send you back up to Taranto. Oh, yeah. Okay, now. These are close air supports. I really wish I had some good maritime bombers. Any of these, just thinking of that. Close air support, yeah. I know in my earlier game I did make an Italian naval bomber type specialty. Let's see what we can do here. Well, it damaged them a bit. Okay, so didn't find them the second time. Naval bomber types will find things particularly better than non-naval types. I guess this heavy rain is theoretically limiting the units from moving normally. And it will stop basically all air activity, which is fine. I think that's appropriate, especially since it rarely heavily rains. Yeah, you sit in Paris. Keep that rail junction from being attacked by partisans. Okay, well, Now let's see. Found it, but no conclusive action. Same here. Ooh, damage 4. Okay. Damage 2 more. Very good. Okay, that'll learn them English to go boating in our Mediterranean. Okay, that looks good. Okay, you come out of the rain areas. Thank you, very large truck or bus or whatever you may be. If you can pick up. Was there another naval unit, or we already sent that back out? Oh, I thought we had a third or another submarine unit. One sub, 2 subs. Not there. Man. Don't know if I lost it, or just misplaced it, but okay. Don't see that there. Looking fairly good. Let's walk these. Okay, put these on rails. There we go. Put these on railways, which should be less cost. You can garrison unit out here. Looking for, okay. Yeah, let's move you to. Well, here might be a good spot. We'll put you on rails. And you on rails. That'll be all we'll do in this turn. We'll keep a core or 2. Some of them, the lighter ones, the 20 strength instead of the, well, those are both 20 strength, and this is the 30 strength core. Some lighter cores over here at least to start, or keep a few of them there. We'll see about really upping it once, you know, America's in the war and they might really be able to invade. But until that point, I would rather, for the first few turns of Barbarossa, have all of the good cores in the east or doing something active, or at least most of them. Now I noticed a little bit of a problem here. Okay, not a real problem, but I have the longer range bombers up forward, the shorter range bombers out back, or in the back. Okay, there we go. That would be better. Okay, well. That's Rommel, right? Okay. It's already October. Now see, I know many of you watched a lot of my videos, but I gotta keep going over things, because sometimes this will be the first video people seen. I really believe Germany should have attacked the Soviet Union in 1942 and used 1941, and from the start of 1941 with a definite plan, actually starting back in 1940 once they've defeated France, really setting up a plan to secure the Mediterranean. And that's sort of what I'm pursuing here. But what I'm worried about is if I put too much of my good mobile strength, because we have I'm not saying that this is going to be a cakewalk over Greece. It might be. I haven't tried with just an armored corps and a mech corps and some other support mountain and infantry type units. But I think we can do it with that. If I move these 2 armor units down here, I think we can take Egypt. But I don't know if we can... Sorry about that. Sorry. Okay. If we can take this and still be ready to pursue an attack early enough in 41 to make 41 a good year to attack. What I'm also sort of worried about is, and I can go and maybe look at the start, is a preemptive Soviet attack, because I don't know if that's been programmed into this. Definitely the Soviets may start building up and attacking if you don't keep 6 units within 10 hexes of Warsaw. You can move. Might as well get you guys somewhat further. Yes, we may end up still putting a lot of these units on trains ultimately, but we're walking what we can. So that's just sort of my bit of my dilemma there. As to how but if we have a good defensive here, probably maybe better. So I don't know. Okay, that I think is all pretty good. We're just sort of in a bit of a standoff with the British. There, okay, well, seeing that, mentioning that. Now. Well, the Greeks are yet to be in this, so let's... Oh, before we do that, we can move you a little bit out. There we go. I think we're going to take the risk. And get out of the ship. Okay, they can't go any further. Man, I didn't realize they were that beat up. That was a mistake to move that unit down here, I think. Put that on priority reinforcement. It's only 5 down out of 30, but if I was going to have one of them, it should have been the other one first. But let's see, since we have that, I think we know that the route is basically clear. So let's put them on ships and dash them down to here. And when they disembark, oh, gotta click, yeah, they'll move. Oh, yeah, good. A little more towards the front end. Okay. Okay, that'll be a lot better. There is a supply concern, moving too much armor and whatnot here, of course. The other thing we need to see about doing is a naval invasion. Now, let's come to the war panel as well. This is where I want to Vichy Syria. Influence. We want to influence Vichy Syria. We have 5 influence action points. Improving relations between our countries. Very good. I don't know if that'll be enough to... I mean, one time won't be enough, but we're going to see if we can do this. The other thing, of course, to do is to see about declaring war on Vichy. And I think we get one of these per turn, so I haven't been spending them, just maybe I should have been, but thought we'd get a little more action out of it than that little bit. You know, 10%, 5% or something per point. Okay, so we're doing that because we need to get this rail link in place here. And even if we were to get Turkey, we still got to get this. And this is quite historical. I know I've talked about this before. And I don't even know if this is correct. Don't think it is. I think this rail line here goes north into Turkey and then back into Syria, because it was built under the Ottoman period. I get this from a railway magazine published, I don't know, like 1938 or something, and they had an article about travel by train. Of course, it's a railway magazine, right along this part of the world, and they had to go via truck, I think, to get to Baghdad, or something. I don't remember all of it. So I think some of this is also a bit more than what was happening. Now, they may have changed it in a few years before the war, but so yeah, we got to get this supply link. We have to have Syria, even if we had Turkey, because Turkey does not link to Iraq without Syria. And I'd like to do it without having to fight occupy all of this stuff, North Africa and whatnot. And I know we have, okay, I like a lot of what Alvaro has done. I think Alvaro is wrong with having partisans to the level of, we can see, supply. Okay, well, we're not seeing any this turn here. Okay, we are seeing some here. Oh, we're gonna have to deal with that. That's gonna cut off our supply issues. Will be issues. I don't think there should be partisan attacks while Vichy France, or even disruption of rail, while Vichy France still exists. That is sort of the deal that is made for Vichy France, is to the idea that keep the partisans down. And two factors that are keeping the partisans down in 1940 and through the first half of 41. One is obviously defeat of France, but since France hasn't been fully occupied, a good huge chunk of France is still unoccupied, and there's a general, I don't know if it's spelled out, but there's a general idea that most of it, like Paris and whatnot, is going to come back. There is definitely a German reannexation of the lost territory from World War I. An annexation of Luxembourg happens. Those are directly annexed. So they know there's going to be a border change, and it may not quite just be limited to what was lost or what was gained by France in World War I. Definitely going to be a border change, but most of France is going to be back. Just give it a bit of time, and most of its empire is still under French control, except most notably is Indochina, which is actually almost kind of a joint control between Japan and France. French troops are still there. Some are evacuated. Some, I think, sit the whole war out in Indochina, not as prisoners of war, just in their barracks and basically disarmed from at least any significant weaponry. And they're just sort of left there. So most of the empire is still together. So that's one factor, is the idea, if you don't cause too much trouble, just ride this out. Once more or less the war with Britain is over, most of France will be become unoccupied. I'm sure there would be all kinds of, restrictions as to the size of the French army. Is there going to be a new Maginot Line? I'm sure not. Those types of things will be odious to Frenchmen, but they would be unoccupied. The other thing is all of the communists were told to go, hooray, the Germans won, hooray, they're our socialist brethren in the fight against capitalism. And so they all the communist parties, basically all over the world, the Stalinists had taken over, literally often by killing everybody who voiced any un-Stalinist type ideas. So, Trotskyites is sort of the other big thing. All the leaders, definitely, all the people publicly supporting it basically are eliminated. And those that are maybe immediate or would like a more Trotskyite or just a more maybe nationalistic viewpoints, or just something other than Stalinistic, basically gets afraid to do anything. I guess the one area that the one communist party that the Soviet Union has no action with is because they thought they were going to lose, was the Chinese communists. At this point, and probably right about now in 1940, the Soviets are heavily propping up the nationalist Chinese in their fight against Japan. See, they haven't moved yet. These guys haven't moved yet. We'll go down here. So they're doing their own thing, but so as soon as the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact is signed, basically almost immediately all communist opposition to Nazism anywhere stops. Just stops. So the communist resistance potential is not happening. It's not like, oh, there gets to be a communist newspaper. There is not happening, at least nothing or openly or anywhere in France, because they're banned in Vichy and they're basically banned in occupied France. But in a general idea, they are told not to cause trouble. So they're not going to cause trouble either. So you have the, everybody but I would have to go everybody but the nutcases. And the nutcases are not necessarily bad people or crazy people. They just maybe, are driven mad by loved ones in German captivity or had been killed by Germans or something like that. Now, that doesn't mean there wasn't a lot of organizing for the part, getting ready, setting up cells, talking with British, operatives that are coming over, and there's a lot of preparation going on happening at this time, most assuredly, but that's different than action. I remember seeing like at this late 1940, very early 41, a lot of Frenchmen, and it was like, I think somewhere in Greater Paris, at the horse races, one of the jockeys on his back had the Cross of Lorraine very openly being worn. That the Germans, and maybe even to some degree the general public, don't yet know what the symbols of French resistance are, like the Cross of Lorraine. That's sort of an insider's joke is the wrong term. An insider's message would be the right term. And so it's done sort of openly to a degree at this point, because even if the Germans might sort of associate it with, I don't know if French resistance is the right term, but French nationalism, French whatever, there isn't yet a real resistance army, and the Germans themselves aren't trying to clamp down on it. They're trying to, as much as they can, use the French police, the French system to maintain order. So I would not have resistance activities until Vichy is either occupied or at war with Germany or some other way allied with thing. The third factor in all of this, which doesn't happen until later, is the lack of hope for an Allied victory. I know I was saying that the other factor, of course, is just waiting out until the war ends, but no one really thinks British divisions are going to be marching into Berlin. That just is not on anybody's mind. You know, you may be able to win a naval war, you may be able to bomb Germany enough and come to some sort of settlement over it and have a peace treaty, yes. That might look like some sort of, you know, success for Britain, but that isn't defeating Germany in that sense. And nobody thinks that until America's in the war and really shows itself to not just be at war with Germany. Because no one's sure, you know, Germany declares war on America. America does not declare war on Germany until they get their declaration of war against them, and then they go, oh yeah, well, we'll declare war on you too. They just declare war on, you know, or declare that a state of war exists with Japan, and then once Germany jumps into that war, well, yeah, America's at war, and everyone knows that America's at war with, you know, everybody who's paying even halfway attention is at war with Germany. But what does that mean? Oh, well, everybody's sure that a few, you know, an American expeditionary force is going to show up. That means Britain's probably not going to be invaded. Maybe the colonies will be stabilized. But America may be in a big war. No one, because America is awoken in World War I. Its industrial capacity is massively increased during World War I. That wasn't there before. And it has some setbacks, a brief depression in the early 1920s, but that, because of they stay the capitalist route, that is quickly over within less than a year, I believe. But it's a massive sort of downturn. And then you have the Great Depression in 29, that because of socialist policies becomes great because it comes ever so long. The effects, in the sense of soup kitchens and taking care of the needy, are definitely better alleviated by FDR. But because of the huge amounts of regulation, partially to support these, but also other elements of the regulation, definitely prolong the depression in America, which causes the depression in the world to prolong. So, you know, in 1941, obviously it happens in December at the end of it, but even into 1942, you don't know how much, you know, how much ammunition is America going to be able to make every day. You know, how many machine guns can fire at 600 rounds per minute, and you're going to be able to feed those machine guns on how many continents. You can sort of get that picture of production. Nobody knows what that level is going to be, so they're not sure. They may be to the point like Churchill is you know, he's sure that the war is now not lost. You know, no real idea that there's going to be German, you know, marching boots in London. But does that mean there's going to be Allied marching boots in Berlin? Obviously, that's what happens, but nobody knows that, and nobody knows whether there's going to be a Japan first, because they're the ones who attacked and enraged America, and then, you know, while supporting the efforts in Europe, but only after Japan is defeated is the main expeditionary army going to be shifted from Asia to Europe. So it might still be years down the road. Obviously, it was still years down the road until the thing is completed. But see, they don't know that. So there's that waiting. That's sort of the third part, is what's going on in the world. Okay, after all that lecture, let's continue on. And I think a lot of us forget. Oh, these guys should have been moved. I keep seeing some. Oh no, this is the next turn. No wonder they're all have their full movement. Enemy fleet not found, so we didn't find in the rain any of the convoys. As we see often history from our vantage point of having it happen, but I try to put myself into the views of the people at the time and try to understand it through that lens. Okay, South Atlantic Convoy Group. Oh, well, maybe there's two down there. I'm missing one. Okay, well, sunk 2 convoys, sunk 1 convoy. Nothing in the North Atlantic. Too much rain, I guess. Probably just didn't spot the other one. Fleet is low on supplies. Okay, we'll make sure the fleet gets back. Mountain Corps has basic supply because it's in the Alpini Corps has basic support supply. Right. Okay, let's look at basic supply. Yeah, we know you're in basic supply. Okay, you're okay, there are 2. Okay. I just somehow missed that one. Okay. You head back to port. We'll come put you into this port. You move down to here to avoid hopefully being found by the enemy. Okay, you go a little over here. Okay, that's good. Now, it looks like we can do more research here. Did one of these things come through and I failed to note it, probably. Heavy armor is going to happen very soon, so I don't think we need to reinforce that. Let's do this way, yeah. Attack submarine a little bit, get that going. We may, once one of these others want to do long range subs or add even more to it. Okay, now we can see they're on low levels of supply. Rainy. Okay. Well, it's not rainy in Greece, so I want to save this. Okay. Game save, just in case I make a mistake here in what's going on. Okay. Oh, that's the one I want. 97. Okay, I should have done this last turn. Okay, well, now they are, but I don't think they can jump. Well, let's also look at partisan activity up here. Okay, you come back. Well, that is just going to have to fix itself. I don't know that I really need to do the whack-a-mole stuff. It's snowing. And we'll move you to here just to make sure. We don't need to move you east this turn. Okay, so yes, let's come to the war panel. Yeah, we got one more of those diplomatic action points, so we're going to Vichy, Syria. Now we're at 10%. I think I noticed there was a bit of a diminishing return if we pump too much in one turn. But we're going to come over here or look for Greece. There we are. Greece is the word. No, I didn't particularly like that movie either. Now I see that this Greece is allies 25%. Well, that's sort of kind of interesting. I also think that's a bit of retconning, a bit of looking back at them and making everyone think that's what would be the situation. Where my understanding, and I'd have to look back, or I'm pretty sure that my memory is correct on this, is that Greece, the Greek leadership, really wanted to be allied with fascist Italy. Now, they didn't want to become a province of fascist Italy. They just wanted to be, part of an alliance with them. It was more Mussolini wanting Greece for himself than it is for Greece not wanting to be there, or not wanting to be in there. Yes, declare war on Greece. Yes, we are sure of this now. Okay. Okay, well, gotta remember here. I think hitting here is our best bet. And another big truck comes by. Okay. Now, 4-1. Very good. 2-1, which is nice. We're going to use these guys. Lightweight airstrike just to keep some pressure up. Good ground attack 1. There we go. Now these guys, they can get to here. They'll still have a few action points. And so what we want to do here is and oh, Italy's not at war with them? Oh, well, Italy, I thought all the Axis would have gone to war when we went to war with Greece. Where's Greece? Here it is. Greece, declare war. Yes, Italy declare war on Greece. Four to 1 up, yeah. Ouch, not quite as good as I was hoping. There we go. Now that clears a lot of pathway out. We still have the airborne division there. Mountain troop. I don't want to move the air division forward. Let's move. Not the best plan. Yep, we'll move the HQ forward. Move this core forward. Oh, they can drop now. Okay, well. Don't know where I'd want to drop them. I thought they had to be 100% at the start of the turn, but maybe just 100% to drop. Well, that's not a bad plan there. Yeah, I think we will. Put down here, okay, that. I think the German HQ will be able to defend itself reasonably well. Oh, we still had this. Oh no, that was the ships I'm looking at. Okay. So that looks like Greece is going to be doomed. We have British ships already there for some reason. I guess I don't know why they would already be there. But yeah, okay. Okay, now they're both fully set up. I want to see the supply levels here. Okay. Yeah, that's going to really start hurting. Move to that deserty sand. That's going to be really bad. So, what we're going to do here is fall back here. Fall back to there. That means all of our movements won't get too disorganized. We're going to come up to there and come on, let's turn off the supply. Okay, so that will allow us next turn with the Italian and German motorized forces to hit fairly hard. Hopefully really push into them. What we're also going to see about doing here is we're gonna put these on board ships. And we're gonna make another dash for here. Good. And maybe stay on board ships. I'm thinking about a possibility of an invasion. Naval, that is. If I'm going to do it, might as well do it with a pretty heavy unit. Now, how is our landing ships 10? Oh, that we might not have enough landing ships there. And Italy's is also 10. When are we getting more landing ships? Okay, November 28th. Oh, it's going to be a little while. Okay, mentioning that, we were stocking up. We have April 15th, March. I would, if I secured the Mediterranean enough, I would like to push into early enough. I would like to push into the Soviet Union if I can, and do so with that. Okay, so those much quicker to build, so that will be good. And okay, that leaves us with 150. Submarine group. Ooh, that's going to be expensive. We don't have enough for any of that. Okay. So we're not going to do, we're going to save up for there. Okay, so Greece is being hit pretty hard. Now up here, I am worried about, well, let's check it out. Supply. Okay, oh, they're doing pretty good along that road. That's what I was sort of worried about. A little worried about the partisans cutting off, because that would make things not nice. Okay, you come up to here. But yes, we could attack, but that does not look like a good idea. That's why we're bringing these guys to hopefully be able to hit that hard enough. Yeah. Failed to move them last time. Get them up there so we have some bombardment. Okay, now the other thing we can do is, I want to check it, just I haven't really needed it, is, well, airport, airfields. We have no airfields, so let's see, 30. You see, as it says, allows air units to land in a hex, normally prohibited from that. So if we want another, I think this is going to be too far away down here. Let's build a, let's get an airfield built. Well, we might as well. I think it's too far away, but we might as well get you up to there. Oh, no, we can strike from there. Okay, we can strike from there. So we don't. We're gonna. I'm gonna. Sort of glad to have it, just because if we need it somewhere at some point, having an airfield drop into a rough hex. 1-to-1, not good enough attack rate. That's looking good. Okay, now let's. Did we play out in the Mediterranean? Yeah, we moved around. Just want to, or out in the Atlantic. Now here, yeah, let's. No battles, rainy. These guys are closer. Support type. Oop, damage one, sunk one. Very good. Yeah, don't base your ships at Malta. Right, I like that. Build for the Italians. They really can't build anything. Of note, I mean, I could build some transports or supply trucks. Yeah, we'll build. That may become an issue. We'll build some more, 10 more supply trucks, just so that we can, because we're gonna hopefully continue to take these bases to be able to supply via the naval or the ports, but just in case if we can't, or too far away from them. Something I forgot? Don't think so. Okay. Let's see how this goes with Greece. I don't know if we're going to have to take Salonika up here, or if we're just taking Athens will do. Okay, Bulgaria signs the tripartite pact, exchange for territory from conquered lands. Bulgaria joins the Axis, very good. Okay, South Atlantic Convoy Group sinks, or Convoy Lane Group sinks 4 convoys. North Atlantic Group sinks 0. False Amigos has basic supply, motorized, has basic support supply, and the Mediterranean don't lose anything from the British attacks. Okay, that is good that we don't lose any more ships from British attacks. It is double secret probation reigning in Greece, so that means no. Oh, they can't even get there. That means very limited in movement, and no. Ooh, they can't even get up there. Well, they can, but that's going to really mess with them. Okay, because of the double secret probation reign. So I don't want to disrupt them anymore, and we are on limited supply. Yeah, I could attack there, but we can't attack there, I think. 3-1, yeah. That's it. I'm not going to push any more than that. Make sure we're doing as much as we can to help supply these units. Okay, they're all under the influence of HQ. That's very good. Well, they got saved a bit of a turn by the rain, but there is no rain down here. that's the best. 3 to 1, 1 to 1. Okay, well. Oh, back to ground attacking, that's why it's not showing up. Okay, land. And you also back to. I was sort of hoping to save some for an attack there, but I guess not. We're concentrating our attack this turn here. Okay. Yep, let's swap these out. Yes, shatters. Very good. We can take down the unit. I think if we move up to here. Oh, let's risk it. Let's risk it. Because they still have not enough to really move anywhere. Okay. We're gonna move up Italian armor, Italian motorized, Italian foot soldiers. Keep the HQ moving up. Okay. They're staying back to sort of guard the port in case I do a naval invasion or something. Okay, that may cut them off, and we may be able to continue to supply since we have a occupied supply chain. A nice sort of Rommel-like move, I would say. Okay, now these guys. Okay, well they're probably going to be running low on supplies soon, so we're going to come there and getting ready to head back home. Okay, they can come to here in one movement. These guys, they've not been doing good on the North Atlantic, so let's come down here and we'll put them right into Brest. That way they can get resupplied because they did come around the top of Britain to get out there. Remember, when you're talking about a garrison unit, it attacks at half the strength. So it would attack at, I don't know whether that's 3 or 4, may round up, I don't know. I forget what that symbol means. It has a specialty on there. But if we can get up here, and it's right now, well, up there, well, we may just have regular snow, but that still somewhat reduces air attack ability and whatnot. And we are up here in November in the north of Norway. I'm sure that's not the best time of year there for attacks, for air attacks, all that good stuff. I was asked again, and I know I've said about this before, I'm perpetually leaving one core here. I'm also doing that in the strategic command games. A little bit, and this is the least, is sort of, this represents the, well, it does represent the sort of reserve army that Germany and most nations have back at home that has many functions. Okay, and you can probably pick some. The main reason I'm leaving this here, and as most of these war game developers know, that if you put all those reserve units into the game, whether it's the humans or the AI, they're all just going to get thrown at the front. So realistically, the sort of training units, the home army type, I don't mean the home guard like in Britain, I just sort of mean the home army, is normally not shown on the map until maybe, you know, enemy gets close enough to Berlin, you know, gets within 4 hexes of Berlin, then you start, you know, spamming out a few extra units that represent not just like the Volkssturm or something like that, but represents sort of the home army. That's a little bit of my thinking with this, but it's also, unlike Hearts of Iron, either of the 2 editions that I've played, these guys can be put on rails and gone anywhere along this rail line in one turn. And it's an old maxim, is he who last commits his reserves wins the battle. So that's sitting there to be my reserve. And I think, is this still the Berlin unit, or did I replace it? Yeah, the German Reserve Corps here. So if I can keep that there and not commit it, doesn't mean that I'm winning, because that may be stupid and foolish, because there may be a good reason to commit it. But if I do commit it to battle, because it's doing, other than, I don't know, some sort of sneaky partisan, I don't know what might erupt in Berlin, or some airborne invasion or something like that, nothing practical that I can see. But it's not like guarding a port. Not like, oh, I'm moving off troops that are, they may not be actively combating things, but they're sort of, running the defenses for France or some other place. These guys are doing sort of absolutely nothing. So if we have a problem somewhere on the rail network, in one turn they can be there. So they can get there to plug a breach in the line. Or, if we just had one more division, and obviously you can't move it by rail and attack that turn, but they'd be ready the next turn, I will use this unit. But I will, as quickly as possible, try to replace it, whether just get this one back from the front, or build a new unit that may be, something already in production, or put something in production just knowing for sure I'm sticking that there, or move some other unit, maybe from some other front that just isn't quite able to zip to wherever that fast, and put that up there. So that is at least my plan with the Reserve Corps that is in Berlin, and just keeping it there as, and also it's there just because I know it's there and I know it's available, as opposed to, well, what unit should I pull from where to whatnot, you can well imagine. I guess maybe we'll rely upon Italians. Yeah, I know you're thinking about that, but thinking for occupation and just general, like, I don't think the British attacking with this 11 corps or 11 strength corps is going to have an overwhelming advantage, even attacking against the Italian mechanized forces. And if they try to coordinate everything, bring up, maybe there's something from here. I'm hoping the 14th Panzer Corps will be able to hold. I wouldn't want to have the Italian mechanized corps here, but so I think we can hold this supply chain here. Okay, yeah, it's start of the turn. Theoretically they come here, but they're going to probably wither on the vine before we do, because we're still holding all the way back to here. Yeah, that looks good. So I think we've got that, and I don't know how much they're going to be able to slowly move out of the desert to come through here. If I didn't occupy this, they'd just pull back, but I think I was able to do, I think that's a brilliant move. And if you want to see if it's a brilliant move, you know what you're going to have to do? Subscribe and come back next time I post the next episode. So yeah, we will see if Gamer is being as brilliant or as he thinks or not. Come back and see how long the rain is going to save Greece. Because I do think I would have gotten the 2 armored divisions without that there, without the rain, heavy rain, and taken Athens and been able to do air support and pound that unit and take Athens this turn. But nope. Okay, so come back next time for more exciting battles with WarPlan and or the historical games.